The Out Front mount is designed to work with round diameter handlebars that are 31.8, 26.0, or 25.4 millimeters in diameter. In the box, there's two sets of shims. The one that's marked 25.7 will work with 26.0 or 25.4 millimeter handlebars. It's splitting the difference. The other shim is labeled 31.8 millimeters, and believe it or not, it'll work for 31.8 millimeter handlebars. There's a couple of cool details about the shims that I'd like to point out. You'll notice that there's two aligning features. It is poke-yoked, so you can only install it one way. The smaller of the two features actually has crush ribs on this. What that means is that there's a small zero-draft design interference, so when you install the shim in place and go to put it on your handlebars, it doesn't fall out. It's not permanent, you can still change this, but it's one fewer thing to keep track of while you're installing this on your bike. The other detail I'd like to show you about these shims is the tongue and groove geometry. This is part of the reason why the shims are poke-yoked. That tongue and groove serves a really simple, kind of non-functional purpose that might matter to you. If there wasn't that overlap, when you tighten the clamp screw, you would see a small gap around your handlebars, and that just wouldn't do. So the tongue and groove means that there's no visible light break in the shims when you clamp this on your bars. Let's go ahead and put this mount on the bars. This mount already has a 31.8 millimeter shims installed. So all you have to do is clamp it around your bars. I usually like to get the screws started at an approachable angle before rotating it into place and tightening it down until it's secure. There you have it. I'd also like to show you how to install and remove a receiver from this mount. Let's go ahead and take the Wahoo receiver and an AirTag. To install the AirTag and the receiver, you just drop it in the bottom and click it into place. There's 3 flexures that'll snap around the AirTag. One thing you might notice is that you can actually see the white of the AirTag through the cutouts in the receiver. This would kind of defeat the purpose of a stealth mount where the AirTag is hidden from casual sight. But don't worry about that. You probably noticed that there's a couple stickers in the box. These Blackout stickers, besides being really cool black on black Gradient Projects logo stickers, serve a purpose. They're sized to be a blackout on top of your AirTag so that it hides the AirTag from view once it's installed. To install the receiver in the mount, you align the big leg on the receiver with the big notch in the mount. There's only one way this assembles, so don't worry about it too much. Drop that leg in place and twist this over and to the side until it clicks. That's it. To remove the receiver, it's pretty simple. All you need is a 2.5 or 2 millimeter hex key, or a stick, or anything that'll fit through that hole and push the latch out of the way. You push down on the latch while twisting the receiver counterclockwise, and then lift it straight up and out. Let's say you want to use the GoPro flange to mount an action camera or a light underneath your head unit. Installation is pretty straightforward. You're going to need a 2 millimeter hex key. The GoPro flange ships with the screws partially installed from the factory so that they're not rattling around in the box. Just go ahead and take the screws out. Once you've removed the mounting screws, go ahead and take this flange and put it underneath the Out Front mount. There's a little lozenge on top of the GoPro flange that'll mate really nicely with the corresponding feature on this mount. That way you don't have to worry about positioning or alignment. While holding the flange in place, just put the mounting screws through the 2 countersunk holes. One thing you might notice is that the drive sockets on these mounting screws are pretty shallow. They're small screws and a small head, and I wanted to make them as low profile as possible. I'd recommend using the square end on a hex key to tighten them in place when you're ready to lock them down. Once you have those 2 screws tightened down, all that's left is to put on your accessory of choice. You'll remove the pivot screw from the flange, put your action camera or other mount in place, and then clamp it down and tighten it till it's secure.